What is going on, guys? We are back with another video today on Madden 21, and we're doing another realistic rebuild, this time on the Cincinnati Bengals. Outside of our speed rebuild we recently did, we haven't rebuilt this team in, I believe, 6 months, and I figured after their draft and the offseason moves, they've done enough to make it where we should do a rebuild. Of course, a lot of mixed opinions and reactions from the Bengals fan base for their draft. Normally, teams love it when, they take a quarterback or a wide receiver or a running back or a fun, skill position, non-boring pick. But it seems like the majority of Bengals fans actually wanted the quote-unquote boring pick with Sewell, which I think a lot of people agreed was the better situation or the better decision. Obviously, you can find offensive lineman talent all across the draft, but you definitely can find receiving talent a lot easier. Not to mention, not saying that the Bengals receiving group was the best in the world, but T. Higgins near the end of the season actually seemed to look okay. Tyler Boyd, more of a slot type guy anyways, but was Jamar Chase even close to the top of their needs list? Probably not. I seen a really funny graphic that made a lot of sense. It was a graphic of Jamar Chase with Sewell, and then the ball arced perfectly to any receiver. It said anybody, and then it says Joe Burrow and any offensive lineman to Jamar Chase, and the ball was like 4 feet away because Joe got sacked, which I 100% agree with. I will say in this scenario, I'd rather have Sewell in rebuilds as well. Offensive linemen are tough to get. I also moved Auden Tate to tight end just because I figured now they have just basically, I wouldn't say no need for him, but as a pure wide receiver, I just don't think he's going to get as many snaps. In the past, Auden Tate was asked to play tight end by many different people, scouts mainly, obviously, not the Bengals, and they would, there was a hypothetical, and he answered, he's like, I would love to play any position that gets me out on the field, and in this scenario, I think playing tight end is going to be the best chance for him to play the majority of the snaps for us, so we're going to try him out. He's got just big enough of a frame. I'm not really sure the level of success he'd have as an actual blocking tight end, but, that's not really the issue here. There's some decent players on this team, definitely some decent players, but overall, offensive line needs to be addressed. Some other positions on the defensive side needs to be addressed, and that, the draft was interesting for them. So this is what the squad looks like for the first year. Jamar Chase out the gate. I don't know if I would say he's going to end up taking the number one role right out the gate, but as far as the way each player plays, I think he should, with Tyler Boyd really being the number 3 technically. Number 2/1 option, but the number 3 position. But in this situation, T. Higgins is a little bit lower in overall, so we're just gonna play it like this. Tate as the number 1 tight end, obviously. Carmen, I don't think will be the starter out the gate. I just don't think he's got the talent to beat out Riley Reiff right out the gate. But obviously, we have lots of positions to replace. Realistically, you might even have to replace the entire line. Jonah will be fine. But everyone but Jonah Williams probably needs to be replaced on the offensive line. Linebackers, Logan Wilson has promise, and obviously these guys for Madden have a lot of promise because they're young and fast. How young is Pratt, actually? At 24. Logan Wilson at 24, though. So linebackers, maybe replace 2, maybe even 3. It depends on how they play. D-lineman, Trey Hendrickson dropped to star, which is a little debatable considering the money he just made, and he played decently well, I suppose. I'm going to give him star. I think he deserves star. And then, pretty much, there's a lot to replace, right? There's a lot to look at. Maybe a new safety at some point, not right away, though. Cornerback, I think, is fine for now. D-line, I think, is fine for now. If Sam Hubbard is a star, I'm just saying. Yeah, it's not the worst-looking team in the world, and actually could be one of my teams for the Madden 22 franchise season. We'll see. But, yeah, for winning the Super Bowl here, I don't see it happening unless we make some big upgrades. And I get Riley Reiff technically in this situation would be trying to teach him because Jonah, he had that injured season and, not really getting much of a chance to prove himself yet. Riley Reiff, he hasn't been great every season, but he's played in the league long enough, and he's been average to slightly above average at times, so definitely fair to be the mentor, I suppose, for Jonah. And speaking of fair, I feel like with the amount of franchise videos I've been putting out and just content in general, it's only fair if you think about leaving a like and subscribing. But speaking of fair, I haven't been really fair to you guys. Ooh, a little stutter there for streaming. But likely going to be live around 9 p.m., maybe not 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight on twitch.tv/Jeromepkr. Should be a second channel video tomorrow or maybe Thursday or Friday. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We're having a pretty good start to the season as well, speaking of. And let's see it. Damn it, really? It's literally one tackle for a loss. You blitz once and you've got it. So re-signings, I couldn't really... Okay, I was about to say Quentin Spain. He was like solid for like 2, maybe 3 seasons. Not really super great here. Probably going to be let go. Everyone else doesn't really seem like that important, right? And surprisingly enough, Von Bell gets the superstar. All right. A bit of a choke job on the season, but we do finish off well enough to get to the playoffs. We were at like 8-3 at some point, and we almost choked the season away. The Ravens, surprisingly enough, are a 6-10 team. Absolutely shocking stuff there. The Browns started off pretty slow, and then they got going. We lost to the Browns, Titans, Steelers, Texans, a little bit of a surprising one. Ravens. I mean, we had a lot of tough games, so to win the games we did and be where we are is pretty impressive. Joe Burrow could be an X factor. I mean, I would like to think he'd be an X factor. Mixon, probably not X factor, but you never know. Receiving, Chase, maybe an X factor. Boyd, pretty damn good. Dowdy goes a superstar. Tate, really good, actually, as a tight end. And then T. Higgins, not bad either. Really good numbers, actually. Pretty good stuff. O-line. Maybe the Bengals knew something we didn't. Maybe they knew, because that's some of the best sim numbers I've seen. And this is one of the worst offensive lineman groups I've seen. And as far as sack totals, this is kind of what we expected from Cincy. And, there's that. Mike Hilton, 3 interceptions. Wayne, okay, I mean, it be what it be. Evan McPherson, or McPherson, whatever you want to call him, the rookie, the only kicker, I believe, drafted in the 2021 NFL Draft. Not a bad season. Only misses 2 out of 14 kicks. That's not terrible. Trayvon Williams, okay. Not bad. Joe Burrow was MVP, so he should get Superstar X Factor, right? It seems fair. Any other award wins? Did we have Jamar at 6? Okay, not great with the award wins outside of Joe, but hey, Joe winning MVP is pretty massive. 81 overall to the 83 overall Tennessee Titans. Yeah, the Titans probably outmatch us in just about every category outside of wide receiver, which is a bit surprising at this rate. When you think about how stacked the Titans receiving group was for a short period of time, or felt they were stacked. Yeah, that went away pretty quickly. Corey Davis never really developed. 14 all. Okay, not bad. 21-14. Once again, this is a pretty big team to face. I would say they're not feeling as much so the same on the other side. As you can see here, it's looking pretty bleak. Is this us driving? It is, but we only get a field goal, and I don't even know if I can really blame the coaching staff there. It's a terrible decision, but when your offense just can't move the ball, it's just like, I don't know. Like, do you just take some wild risk on like 4th and 17 or whatever it might have been? Joe Burrow, not bad, but completion percentage was really lacking. Rushing wasn't great, but either was it for their side. Ferkser dominated us. That's got to be a sign for new linebackers, right? As far as sack totals, just no pass rush once again. If there's a name in there that's worth the money, we might have to pay them, because this pass rush is just... it's really been bad for like a decade, honestly. Like, it's not been great. Like, prime Geno Atkins, maybe? Like, even then, they've never really had, to my knowledge, like, great edge. I guess Dunlap, and like maybe a season or 2 of Michael Johnson, the big 6'8"er. Is he 6'8" or 6'7"? I don't even know, but either way, he's massive. All right, the Super Bowl between the Packers and the Browns. The results of that one are the Packers win it all. That happens in real life without Rodgers. That would be hilarious, but... yeah, I don't see that happening. But then again, Rodgers is here in this scenario, and likely still in real life. I don't know where they're sitting, to be honest. But as far as the dev-ups, Joe Burrow does go to X Factor. Not really a surprise there. Be nice to see some of the other offensive lineman guys go there. No-look Deadeye. I don't think that fits him at all, I'll be honest. I suppose Set Feet Elite, or is it just Lead? What's the elite one? I don't know. Lofting Deadeye. I mean, yeah, I guess. Gutsy Scrambler? Really? These seem kind of weird. Like, I'm not saying he's not athletic, but that's not the first thing I think of when I think of him. Mike Hilton goes up to Superstar. That's actually massive. Corners are very hit or miss for dev-ups. Akeem Davis Gaither, clear-cut the #1 linebacker on the team now, as he's the youngest and the highest dev, and basically the highest overall. I mean, they're all kind of like the same. They're like 75, 76. Yeah, linebackers top tier on the list for sure, but O-line, obviously, as always, will be the #1. But yeah, the team's not in a terrible spot. It's not in a terrible spot. Let's see if there's any free agents we can sign after we potentially sign some, re-sign some of our players. Hubbard needs to go. Yeah, I know it's Huber, but it just, Hubbard sounds better, I don't know what Riley Reif's contract was in real life, but he apparently still has 1 year, $3 million left, so I'm willing to keep it. Brandon Sheriff. I don't see Washington letting him go, but then again, Trent Williams is a Niner, so I mean, in this scenario, I'm not sure. I think we can make the play. I'm going to make the argument that Brandon Sheriff is available. Massive sign in there if he does decide to join us. And we might try to go for like a veteran D-end just for the hell of it. I'm not really sure, though, as right now it's not looking super great for free agents outside of like the top few players, but mainly just Brandon Sheriff, honestly. All right, let's see who we got. We ended up with Sheriff. Kerryon Johnson unfortunately did not get Dante Hightower. And we get a backup pass rusher, Rasheem Green. I feel like Kerryon Johnson, he was a cheap deal. It was like a 4-year, $16 million. It was a cheap, better version of Sam G. Pirine, or Samjay. And then, of course, Brandon Sheriff is a massive upgrade. All right, we have pick 20 in the draft. Miami at #1 is definitely a bit of a surprise. As far as offensive linemen, we don't have the graces of a decent offensive lineman class, especially tackle like last season. So the best case we really have is Julian Wagner. I suppose we'll end up taking him. We don't necessarily need safety that badly, but this guy is just such a good talent. It's hard to pass up on him in general. They mentioned how he killed some top-tier wide receiver prospect in one of the big games. But we also have Marquis Atkinson. So as far as what we have to grab, we have to get Marquis. I wouldn't say we have to get the tackle, but definitely one of the top-tier guys. I think the safety's much better, but overall it's just not one of the biggest needs. So realistically, this is probably how I would rank what we're going to be doing. Going to probably be moving from 20 down to like 10. And hopefully gather maybe like a 3rd-round pick, which can get us up to, that was the Heisman winner, by the way, that can get us back up into the 2nd round for both of those players. As the Browns, even though they're interdivisional, really, really want that pick and making it really hard on us. The Vikings, I didn't really think about like how far we'd be moving back, but yeah, we actually probably could get more than I'm expecting, right? Like there are actually some really decent trades here. So we get 41, a 3rd this, and a 2nd-round pick next year from the Rams, who love to trade during the 1st round of the draft. So that is what we land. We obviously have pick 9 now. There are quarterbacks. Don't really need that, obviously. I think we might be able to land everyone. Marquis Atkinson is by far the biggest need, though, so we are going to be taking him. And definitely worse than I thought. I will say, though, he might actually be a coverage linebacker instead. Kind of like a Gaither clone. I'm not really sure what I want to do here. It kind of depends on what his traits are. It says coverage linebacker style, but really high jumping. Catching is low, but good man in zone. I mean, we can kind of decide what we want to do, can't we? We trade 52, 116, and 166 to the Raiders for pick 42. And even though I really, really don't think this tackle is going to be anything special, we're going to have to take him. And here's the thing. Going forward, I think I have to choose players that are decent enough, but I have to just, like, if I think they're going to be good, they're going to suck, unless they're mentioned in the news story. And if I think they're going to suck, they're going to be good, because this is the first hidden lineman we've had in I don't even know how long. I was just taking them just based off of need. And I'm going to get greedy. And I'm going to trade up for this safety now with the Colts. I mean, we really don't have much going on for ourselves outside of this round anyways. So, third this, third next. I don't think that's going to be enough. All right, that's more fair, I think. Third this, a third, and a fourth next for 43, which will be a safety that probably will be hidden. Not 100% sure, but let's make sure there's nothing else here. I mean, really, it is what it is. Moses, Ferguson, don't need him, but he just looked too good to pass. And yes, hidden development trade. No surprise there. Man coverage isn't the worst possible. 75 catching as well. I mean, we had to draft him. We just had to draft him. But now looking at him, I'm trying to think of where we would place him. And honestly, if he was normal, that would have been one of the dumbest decisions of a draft pick possible. And even though we don't need tight end, this guy does look very good. So if we have an option at him, I think we have to take him. Taj Robinson, he looks okay, but he's 23. DT's not that big of a need. So we're going to go to 20. And then if the tight end's there, I think we'll take him. But that center might be a little bit more important. The tight end is there, man. That is tough to pass on. Rob Herman. I think we're just going to look at how good Rob Herman is after the draft. A late second center versus a late first, though. We need the lineman more. Roseman, another 70 overall. Of course, this time only normal. We might have a spot for him, maybe like left guard or something. And obviously, we can't trade up anymore. We traded up into the second round twice. Obviously, I wouldn't say up into. One of them was, but the other one, obviously, we traded from the late second round position. Taj Robinson, unless he's hidden, probably not that great. Trying to find the damn tight end. And the Browns, of course, that would be such a nightmare. 83 overall to our rival team. Where was the corner I was looking at? Oh, he must have went. Cole Barr. I mean, I don't think we're going to get any more luck out of that. So I think we're going to go to our next pick. The DT's there. We're going to be taking him. And he's not there. Jeez, everyone's gone. I guess we'll force our way in for this corner. DeMarcus Boyd. Not really liking it. Got ourselves a decent-looking wide receiver, Roman Watkins. Decently fast. You know, another kind of bigger type guy. And then in the 7th round, I think we're going to go with a punter. I think we did get Niswander, but it was like a kind of small deal, so we can always get rid of him if we had to. Josh Whitting. Or Whiting. I don't even know how you want to say it. Whitting? Whitting would be like 2T. I don't know, dude. These names are just throwing me off. I'm still going to look at our Ferguson guy's dev, because I honestly just don't think we have a spot to play him regardless as of right now, so we'll see. And he is only star, so I mean, it was an okay pick. And then Julian Wagner, automatically a win. He will start somewhere just because he is hidden development, and our line is really, really rough, and he is star, so not bad. Let's take a look at the Browns tight end. How much do we regret it? And not at all, actually. So aggressive's not bad, but like, yeah, not as good as I would have thought. Still decent. It's a steal, I suppose, but overall, nothing really special. Wouldn't have been able to outplay Tate for the spot. All right, secondary. Oh, geez. Okay. But as a secondary issues for years in Cincinnati. Kind of want to keep Jesse Bates, but that is a lot of money for a safety. 94 overall. How good is he actually? He is very good, though, in fairness. And at worst, he probably could play corner if he had to. Tip drill, I suppose deep out? Is there anything for just, like, deep? I guess deep out. Let's give him the 7-year deal. Let's knock it out. Could make it 100 mil, but yeah, don't save money. Sam Hubbard really not playing that well. I don't think he's worth the contract. Auden Tate, his run blocking isn't great, but as far as a wide receiver goes, I mean, 57 run blocking is among, the higher numbers, I suppose. So we'll give him a 4-year deal worth 22.6. Darius Phillips, not a bad contract, but we have a lot of corners currently on the team. And everyone else can go. Riley Reef going to be replaced by Carmen. Or someone better, hopefully. All right, season's coming to an end, and I'm going to be honest. Oh, we win at the end. A bit of a shocker as we go 7-9. Even more shocking is probably the Steelers at 4-12. We just couldn't get it going. We just kept losing, winning a couple, losing a couple. It's just very inconsistent, and ultimately a 7-9 record. I would have taken the 6-10, to be honest. But here we are. Joe Burrow, definitely a down year comparatively to his MVP year, but still good enough. As Joe Mixon, definitely worse. Jamar Chase, was he not an X Factor? He didn't get the X Factor. Should be here. Tate, I mean, I don't want to force the dev to superstar, but man, he probably deserves it, especially making the move from wide receiver to tight end, having back-to-back good years. I don't know, but Atkinson might go to star, superstar perhaps there, maybe superstar there. Sack totals, trouble in paradise again. I mean, I will say Joseph Asai definitely performed pretty well, considering he's a backup. He's not even supposed to start. Evan McPherson definitely going to be looking at punter and kicker soon, as I did want to replace Niswander, but of course the punter we drafted was pretty bad, so we just ended up letting him go in the end. As far as awards go, I mean, maybe rookie Atkinson, Rookie of Year awards for defense, and that's pretty much all I'd expect. Cardinals versus Chiefs for the Super Bowl. The winner of this one is the Chiefs. Not really surprised there. 87 overall. Not a bad overall at all, as Jamar Chase is already an X factor with ankle breaker. I don't really think ankle breaker makes sense. Go double me. Energizer. What a terrible ability, especially for a wide receiver. And I suppose wide receiver apprentice. But yeah, no other dev-ups, I don't think, on the offensive side. Defensively, Awuzie goes up to superstar, and then Atkinson also to star. Got a little bit of XP there. Okay, fair enough. I mean, we don't really need Atkinson as a pass rusher per se, so I suppose a coverage linebacker makes sense. So for free agency, Bradley Chubb is a hard guy to pass on. Jonathan Allen is kind of a hard guy to pass on. Jair Alexander, we will pass on. We don't really need a cornerback right now. Ronnie Harrison, don't need a safety, although we may have to replace Von Bell soon, because we can't really afford two elite safeties, in my opinion, especially with how easy they are to get. Mike McGlinchey would be kind of nice. Ooh, Mike McGlinchey, though. Damn, that would be nice. Leighton Vander Esch. We could use a linebacker. Maybe we pay someone like Leighton here, who's, I mean, he should be cheaper in theory, right? Like, they can't be the same overall 2 years difference in age, and, you know, you're paying them the same, I don't know. So we got Nick Nelson as a backup, and then we actually got Brian O'Neill, who's kind of a steal here. I mean, I wouldn't say a steal. He's a 4-year, $38 million deal, but for an 84 overall star tackle, yeah, definitely a good pick. All right, Jonah Williams is a guy that they're talking about giving him a 5th-year option for. I mean, it's not terrible, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but I think we can get him for cheaper, or we can just let him go. I don't want to let him go, but I'm just saying we probably could if we had to. But let's start the draft. We have pretty much everyone in order. I'm not exactly sure who we're going to get, but we have everyone in order. This guy won the Heisman. Put him on the list just for that reason alone. Will Smith could honestly be a pick at pick 14 for us. Honestly, we have to replace maybe even both DTs on the current roster. The guard, Greg Harding's decent, but I don't know if I trust linemen in Madden. We also have Donovan James, who I think is a must draft for us, whereas, you know, we're just not really getting much pass rush success at the moment. What else do we have? We have Mercer. We do need linebacker pretty badly, and he's a mid-first, but he's in the mid-second. So, I mean, this is tough. I think we should at least land Donovan James, Mercer, and then the DT. I think 14, I'm not willing to move up for the DTs. Not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it would be a decent pick probably, but, you know, I'm willing to take the DT here rather than do anything else. The safety is just not as big of a need to take the risk there, and then Greg Harding. Will Smith, he's just got to be the pick. And 78 overall, as you would expect. The number 1 ranked player in true talent. Unfortunately, only normal, but obviously an absolute massive talent at defensive tackle, and he's only 21 years old. As far as our next picks, mid-second for both, so you should be able to get to the start of the second round for these guys, and we will be making the trade up. I believe we will be taking... Do we take the line? I think we should probably take the... I don't know. I feel like the linebacker is a little bit bigger of a need technically. I really don't want to give up a 5th this, but 46 this, 119 next, and a 5th this for 33. Now I'm really starting to think maybe we should have just waited, because I don't think we're going to be able to make the trade up for both players. I'm going to be honest with you, but I think just based on the pass rush lacking, I think we are actually going to go Donovan James, and he is a 76 overall normal, already almost the best pass rusher on the roster, just out the gate. Oh, man. I really, really want that linebacker, but you can kind of get linebackers anywhere. I don't want to miss him, because like, he'll probably be the only guy that's actually hidden. What about the wide receiver? Actually, Danny Tucker, they mentioned that his stamina was kind of bad. A late first talent grade. Do we need wide receiver? That's the question. Like, T. Higgins doesn't need a contract just yet. The wide receiver is just too early, I think. unless you're willing to get rid of Tyler Boyd, who I may have called Taj Boyd a couple of times. I don't think it's a smart decision. There's no way they take that. Or they do. I think that's fair. I can't really tell, though. Really hoping this linebacker is good, because if he's not, this is a massive sell. I mean, here we go. Nicholas Mercer. And he is a pretty high overall normal dev. Lots of potential, but man, these devs really suck. They really, really suck. Of course, you want to take a look at that wide receiver whenever he comes up later. It's also a lineman. Is this the guy? It is the guy, Nick Gibson. Was there another one? I thought there was another lineman that was really high projection. Maybe it isn't. Nick Gibson, probably worth going up for, right? He's got pretty good ratings. Could play guard. So we end up giving Hill and Wilson over to the Seahawks for their high 4th-round pick, which is, I think, by far fair enough. Nick Gibson, hoping for the best of that early second talent grade. And, yeah, I mean, he's not a bad player at all. Definitely a good one. But, unfortunately, not hidden. But then again, none of our picks were, and obviously we had some pretty damn good selections. Look at that, Rick Gibson. Okay, who are you trying to fool? We just drafted you. Who is this guy trying to fool? And then we had an undrafted safety, but I think he's okay, even at 24 years old. 67 overall, worth the pick. Sucks he's too old to be anything, but not a bad backup. Now let's take a look at the devs of some of the players we passed on. There really wasn't anyone we necessarily passed on, though. I guess let's take a look at the guard, Harding. And, yeah, I mean, that would have been such a sell. This guy was a Heisman winner, but, I mean, pretty raw. He would have had to play actual safety, which we don't need just yet, and it's not really the hardest position to get. Could always move the guy we had at safety back from corner to safety again. Of course, Superstar is nice and all, but not really anything crazy. He was another one of the guys they talked about. They said that he had a bad combine, which doesn't really seem like that's necessarily the case, but he was 23. We didn't really need a wide receiver. But speaking of, take a look at the wide receiver we did pass on that we definitely wanted to go for, Mr. Danny Tucker. Hidden development trait. This is literally like T. Higgins, but faster with hidden development trait. Please be bad. They talked about bad stamina stuff, so star dev. I mean, that's not crazy great. 82 stamina. Yeah, he is lacking those core attributes. There might have been someone else we missed, but overall, I think we had a good draft. Just, once again, unlucky rolls on the hiddens, which I can't really say on the hiddens because there were none. All right, we trade Larry Ogunjobi off to the Jaguars for a 5th-round pick. You just have to start that rookie. He's just way too good not to right out the gate. Believe it or not, it's already season freaking 3. And I will say the squad does look very good. It's just we kind of took a bit of a step back. Obviously, the team didn't. We got a new right tackle who is better than Riley Reif by 11 overalls. Really, you just look to upgrade the center position, assuming you can afford everyone and your O-line's set. Maybe look for a new tight end in the future. I mean, Tate's not really on crazy money, so we can always look around. Linebackers, their potential is higher, but they really haven't upgraded in overall. Same with the D-line. Potential is higher with Smith and James, but they really haven't upgraded because obviously the rookies. Safeties are pretty damn solid. Corners are decent. But Awuzie with that superstar, maybe a little too late. He's 27. Upgrades aren't really coming in super fast. Be nice to see Trey Hendrickson actually play up to the contract, the 4-year $60 that he has. And then James, obviously the new man on campus, looking really solid already. Just will he play well? That's the question. And just like that, Donovan James is already star. Unfortunately, Mercer failed his. Mike Hilton only wants a 1-year. I mean, right now we kind of have him on the boundary, but I mean, sure. I guess he doesn't want to resign. Chidobe Awuzie, that's not a bad contract. A 3-year, pretty much 25, which is slightly over Mike Hilton's price, but he gets an extra year, basically 2 years actually. Jonah Williams, franchise tackles, especially in Cincinnati, are not easy to come by, and we're going to attempt to do that, but everyone keeps declining. And even though I didn't really think I was going to re-sign Von Bell, his contract is very favorable. Hey, he's nice. Did he just get to X Factor? Have we ever even had that happen before? Now I wish it was more than a 1 year, but hey, I'm glad we got it. Headed to the playoffs, are we in them? And we are, with a bye week back stronger than ever. 12-4 performance. I actually can't believe that he got to X Factor. That is actually pretty insane as far as our stats go. Burrow, pretty similar to last year, actually, but still somehow made it. In fairness, there it is. There's the answer. Joe Mixon went absolutely off. That's an X factor for the young man. Receiving, Tyler Boyd, finally to superstar, it would appear, which is just in time for him to get a contract. Can't wait. T. Higgins could be traded off, as we want to get some value out of him, and I just don't think we can afford all three. He's the odd man out, unfortunately. O-line, really good stuff, as you could see. I mean, the interior allowed 5 total, which is, usually you get to see about 8 to 12, and then the tackles, usually it's pretty high in general anyways. Nicholas Mercer should go to star. Gaither, maybe superstar. Didn't get there last year, so I wouldn't expect it. Pass rush, just absolutely awful again. Picks, I mean, actually not bad numbers. McPherson, especially considering he had more attempts, better than last year for a fact, but still a little shaky. Maybe look for another kicker in the draft or something like that. We didn't do it last season, unfortunately. MVP Rodgers still on the Packers, 90 overall, as we were not on the list, I do not believe, but we should have some sort of award, right? Yeah, Mercer, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Really? Joe Mixon wasn't good enough for MVP for the running backs. A little surprising. Tyler Boyd. I mean, we still do get Pro Bowlers, assuming we actually make the Pro Bowl. So, I mean, it's something. Also, we could actually win it all right here. You never know. Year 3 could be the magical year, as we get the bye week, and we're already in the divisional round. Unfortunately, though, we're playing against the Baltimore Ravens. We're a 91 overall. They're a 90 overall. Yeah, I don't think we really match up well against them. Our front seven's a little weak, I will admit. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. Our front seven's really weak, so I don't know how we actually stop their offense. They probably just run the ball all day on us and call it an afternoon and move on to the championship. But this is Sim. We'll see what happens. 7-0, 7-3. Not the worst start in the world, considering once again I just don't see how we would stop them yet. Here we are, kind of stopping them. Second half. 20-3, 27-3, 27-11. They go for 2, which is really smart, but I didn't expect them to. And thankfully, we had enough of a lead in the first half, as all we needed really was 1 touchdown in the second half to close out the deal. I suppose, actually, we were pretty good throughout the entire game. A little bit better in the first half, but second half we did put up some points. I believe we actually put up like 14 in the second half compared to 20 in the first, which is, pretty average. Makes sense. Rushing, passing, nothing spectacular, but got the job done. Trey Hendrickson, there you go. Finally something. Awuzie with a pick. Perfect kicking. Finally, the team played well. Like, they just didn't. There wasn't anyone super spectacular outside of maybe Trey, I guess. But, they played a clean game of football and won it. As Moses Ferguson now gets to an 84 overall, and he hasn't even, he's the number 3, but he hasn't played a starting snap. Technically, not a bad player. But here we are already in the championship round, going up against the Jets. Interesting team drop, who have Tom Brady, 84 overall Jets with Tom Brady versus the 91 overall us without Tom Brady. I don't know why that was mentioned, but it was. It wouldn't be the worst time to win a Super Bowl here, because we could do 2 more seasons and try to see if we can get that 2 out of 3. Zach Wilson apparently is their quarter. I don't know. Maybe Tom Brady's a lower overall. Actually, he probably would be a lower overall than Zach. But since he's an X Factor, he showed up. 7-14, not a great start for us compared to last week, I'll tell you that. As they drive down, but they can't finish it. A field goal before half again, so we're only down 4. Second half, they make it by 7. This isn't looking good. The slow sim to see if we have a chance. And CJ Mosley gets a pick. That will most likely be the dagger. Never mind about that 2 more seasons. We may still do that, but I don't imagine that it's going to be the result of, multiple Super Bowl wins. But you never know. Maybe year 4 and 5 are the magical years. This is still a really good job. If the Bengals can get to the championship round, I mean, the playoffs 2 years out of 3, and the championship round within 3. That's pretty impressive. Joe Burrow did unfortunately sell. Hell, the Joes. If your name was Joe, you're on the field, you were awful. This was the Heisman winner, I believe, back when, and it really does not look good, at least performance-wise. I don't know what his overall is. Defensively, 2 sacks. Wow, Mosley had one of the greatest playoff performances ever. Maybe the greatest. 2 sacks, 2 picks. How do you beat that as a coverage linebacker? I don't know. Well, I wouldn't even really say coverage, but, coverage, run-stopping linebacker. Not a pass rusher, technically, but that's insane. He clutched up for them. He literally won them the game, simply put. If Mosley's not on the field, we probably head to the Super Bowl. Which, speaking of, we are at the Saints versus the Jets. The winner of this one is the Saints. Saints kind of coming out of nowhere to rebound. DevOps, Joe Mixon and Boyd do go up in Dev. That's what we expected. X Factor for Joe. What is his ability? First one free. I actually seen that. Boyd, who is now a 93 overall, gets a superstar with Slot-O-Matic, which makes sense, but probably Route Tech instead of the other thing. Defensively, Gaither goes to superstar. James is already star. And then Mercer goes to star. Gaither gets... That's one too far. Gets secure tackler. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of dev ups, right? I mean, we are a good team, I will say, but a lot of times we're a good team. We don't get dev ups, so I suppose I'll take them. We'll take a look at free agents, but I imagine this is the time for us to kind of chill with the money. Brian Burns would be a nice contract, and we really need a freaking pass rusher. I can't believe how good Owusu is in Sim, but we could really, really use a pass rusher, and Burns not having an offer is kind of disgusting me here. May offer him a 5-year 95, but I mean, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, as far as getting rid of Trey Hendrickson, who obviously has not played up to par, it wouldn't be a huge loss. I'm going to give him a 5-year 101. A guy like Brian Burns is probably worth every penny. So 5-year 101, 72 points. I think that's pretty fair. And Trent Brown would be perfect because we would be able to move O'Neal to left guard, move our left guard to center, and then Trent Brown would just stay at tackle. But I think our offensive line is definitely good enough. They've played good enough as well. So we're just going to leave the position as is. Hell, even center is a 77 overall. I'm cool with what we got, honestly. We end up getting Brian Burns on that 5-year 101. Noah Dawkins is a backup linebacker. We can get rid of Osai for maybe like a 4th-round pick or something like that. Carmen for like a 4th-round pick. We could probably get rid of T. Higgins for like a late 2nd. We can definitely get some value back with some of the players that we are going to replace here. I don't know if this is fair, but the Lions, who need a tackle and a wide receiver, get Higgins and Carmen, which I think is fair. It's ironic enough that they get Sewell and, I wouldn't say a Jamar Chase clone, because obviously Jamar Chase is on a whole nother level here, but, they kind of get the same players, and they get to keep Sewell, I mean, not the same, but you know what I'm going for, right? And ironically enough, the team that lost Brian Burns is going to be getting Osai and Hendrickson for a 2nd and a 5th-round pick. All right, Joe Burrow wants a contract extension. We're going to give him that 5th-year option so we can save a little bit of money because he's going to want max anyways. Now, the problem with the draft is that we don't really have anything to draft, so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do. We have Sheriff Shepard, who looks decent. Not really the biggest need. I know we had to get rid of Higgins. Well, we didn't really have to, but we chose to. We have this linebacker guy who could maybe replace somebody. But realistically, this draft class was pretty weak. So we trade pick 29, 61, and a 5th-round pick all the way up to 16. I believe to take a center who is graded as an early 1st. I'm not really seeing anyone else. Dylan Murphy. There was a cornerback that just went a little bit ago. He was a Heisman winner. Didn't look that great, which probably means he is going to be great. Usually that's how that works. This guy doesn't look like the strongest prospect ever, but I think no matter what, we're going to be giving him hidden if he doesn't have it. And he doesn't, but like I said, we're going to give him hidden. He's an early 1st grade. He's a 1st-round talent. I'm sick of EA pulling this crap, to be honest. I also don't know what this would cost, but we're moving from 37 to 33 for a 5th and a 6th-round pick. We're going to end up taking the wide receiver just for the hell of it. Looks like a pretty damn good value pick in my opinion. So Sheriff Shepard is the pick, 74 overall normal. Yeah, not a bad player. Kind of like ironically enough, a Jamar Chase type. We moved on a couple of times. We end up getting to the Oh, don't tell me that was the guy. It wasn't. Eli Reeves is my guy. Late 1st grade, looks decent. We traded down from 23 down to 9. We ended up getting a total of a 4th, maybe 2 4th and a 6th, I believe. I don't even know for next year. Eli Reeves, or actually one was for each year, I think. Eli Reeves, 72 overall normal, had that 1st-round talent grade. I'm not saying we necessarily need a corner now, but I mean, if you're going to take players, take the guys with the highest potential. That guy had the highest potential. Mid 4th. I think we're going to make a massive trip to the Niners, and then, I wouldn't say call it for the draft, but we're definitely not going to put too much more into this draft. Give up our 2 4ths this and a 5th next to trade all the way up to number 10, which I'm not even 100% sure is fair, but it seems pretty close. If not, there's some decent names here. Spencer Hurst is okay. Clayton Branch is okay. There's some running backs that are okay, but this guy looked like the best by far out of the bunch. Early 1st talent grade looks good. Should be like a 74 overall plus. And he's a 76 overall, 2nd in talent grade. It seems like they want him to be a DT, but like his strength is low, so I don't know. And then this selection probably will be a running back, and there is none. Really? Early third or a linebacker's early fifth. I mean, I suppose we're going to go for the 7th round. Defensive tackle, 69 overall, Tevin Brown. Have we landed a single hidden development player yet? Oh, yeah, first draft. Like, why are we getting scammed so hard? We need a new fullback-ish, so we're going to go for Knowles. I thought he was going to be really good, but I guess not. We take the best projected punter. Sucks, though. Then by far the best projected kicker. He had a 2.6 combine grade, and he's awful. Love it, EA. Oh, yeah, we didn't land a hidden, but I did remember we were going to make Greg Winter a star. I'm also going to take a look at the other lineman that was like top 10 pick, see if he was hidden. I was going to make a trade up for him because we just had nothing to go for, but I was like, you know what? I don't think he's going to be very good. And we'll find out. Mr. Tim Stockton, of course, normal. Chiefs get a high pick somehow magically, and they end up with a 7th pick overall. Normal lineman. He looked really good to me, so I'm going to put him at superstar. Let's take a look at Will Harden. Another normal. Yeah, they're all going to be normal, let's be honest. All right, here's our roster for Season 4. We'll go for at least one more season after this one, whether we win this or not. Well, actually, if we win the Super Bowl here, I'm not 100% sure. But this is what the team looks like. Obviously, 3 X-Factor offensive players. Boyd is a superstar. O-line's definitely getting better with Winter, the new star development center. Defensively, linebackers, they're good, right? They're good enough, especially Gaither, who's a superstar. We got 2 superstar safeties, an X-Factor corner with a superstar corner, and then Ferguson, who will probably replace one of the 2 soon enough. At the number 2 spot. D-line, obviously, with Burns is a massive upgrade. Maybe finally we'll get somebody in the double-digit sacks. All right, you got to re-sign Jamar Chase. Obviously, we probably give him the option in real life, but who cares? He's worth every penny. Just give him the damn money and shut your hole, you know? Anyone else? Obviously, there's some really big names here, but can you afford them all? I suppose you keep Tyler Boyd along as well. $42 million to work with. Mike Hilton could probably rock another year, right? He could. He is very good, though. This is tough. I think you got to keep DJ Reader. Keep Reader for one more year. Okay, thank you. Akeem Davis Gaither. Yeah, we'll keep him as well. We're broke. We're broke. Yeah, let's... we're probably going to get rid of the kicker because he just really hasn't played that well, even though he's solid ratings-wise. Gonna get DJ Reader. We're gonna leave Mike Hilton go, unfortunately. He is a smaller guy anyways, so it is what it is. This is so unfortunate because we could have went 16-0, but we lost one of the games. Who the hell was it actually against? I thought it was the Ravens. The Seahawks by 4. Could have had a perfect season. Obviously, the postseason we don't know about. First in yards and touchdowns. I mean, it's kind of written in the stars for us to win it all here, right? Like, look at the touchdowns. First in passing, I mean, rushing attack-wise, probably had first in general for touchdowns, right? Probably could have looked at blocking, but here we are. Burns, finally a double-digiter. Mike Hilton, maybe he doesn't need the contract after all, if we can even afford him. As far as the other guys with picks go, yeah, not really super great. Evan McPherson, of course, he gets the freaking better season after we're looking to get rid of him. And once again, Joe Burrow somehow doesn't win MVP despite having number 1 in yards and touchdowns. Did Mahomes really put up crazy rushing numbers? I don't see how that's... Okay, I mean, maybe he did. We had almost double their wins. If we would have done 16-0, we would have had double their freaking wins. That's insane. Eric Fall. Ooh, X-Factor quarterback, though. Uh-oh. All right, going to the end of the game. Not really liking what I'm seeing here because obviously as the way better team, we should be putting up some decent points. When we aren't, it's like, okay, maybe it is actually anyone's game here, which it really shouldn't be. It should be only one team's game, and it should be the Bengals team's game. 17-14, and they look like they're about to score, and they do. Come on, fellas. What is this? What is this? And we throw a pick? Guys! Are you joking me? There's no way, dude. This team is so good it should accidentally put up 40 points a game, even when they're not trying. And who else but Tate, right? When you think of the best player on the Bengals offense, you're clearly thinking about Tate, right? Oh, he's not even in position. Hurry! Oh, that was a close call as Boyd kind of gets caught up by his own receiver. You got to be joking me, though. 2 yards, and they failed two times in a row. Probably would have been a fourth. 3 times in a row. I don't know, words, you know. And we get the field goal with 2 seconds left. Fair enough. We get the stop. Offense running the ball, trying to lose the game. I think this is us, right? Throw the ball away, and they hit the long, what was that, 52-yard field goal. I mean, yes, we kind of helped the team, but, I mean, they shouldn't be failing like this. Like, look at this. Joe Burrow's an X factor, like 99 overall. We have the best team in the league. It's not even close. Come on, man. Championship round against the Ravens, 95 overall to their 92. So, I mean, they are a pretty decent overall, and they did get a lot of wins. So, you know, I don't really expect us to win this one by a lot or even expect to win in general. But on the other side, you have the Packers and the Panthers. I thought the Packers made it to the Super Bowl. I can't remember. 10-0, not a bad start at all, obviously. 10-0 still, 10-7, 17-7, 24-7. It's looking pretty good for us, but the Ravens have been able to put up some pretty quick points, so I wouldn't, yeah, okay, maybe would count them out now. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, as both teams are kind of struggling, but we finally get the points on the board. It was such a close battle. The third quarter was super interesting, and then nothing happened. There was like nothing. Like, it was going to be interesting for the third quarter as Joe Burrow puts up the numbers we expect him to. Joe Mixon with the 140 yards with a touchdown. Auden Tate, hey, we were joking earlier, but maybe he is the guy that you go to. Von Bell with another interception. This man coming up clutch. And no surprise you're here, Panthers versus the Packers. You would expect the Packers to win that matchup. Let's take a look if we had any dev ups. Auden Tate does not go up in overall, or for dev. Boyd doesn't go up in dev. Mercer does go up in dev. He is a superstar now. And I don't think we had another guy. Burns would have definitely been superstar. That would have been weird if he wasn't. But yeah, I mean, not really much dev up situations, but obviously we're just gods, so it doesn't really matter in general. Let's actually get Mike Hilton. Do you want to go slot with him? We'll go zone regardless. Because you want something with speed, right? 2 to zone. Okay. He's a very good player, but he's small and slow, so I don't know how it even works out, but it does. 95 overall to their 88 overall. Is Rodgers still here? Real life terms of, trade situation or just even age. We'll find out. Rodgers is still here, but I have no idea what overall he is. They kind of look like they're coming out swinging, but we get the points out of all the turnover situations. Although it's only 14-13 now, 21-20. This is a hell of a battle. 21-20 still, 28-20 now. Packers get 3. Touchdown puts us in a really, really good spot here. And the Cincinnati Bengals are Super Bowl champions of the world. I was willing to do another season, but you can't really go up from 15-1 Super Bowl champions, can you? Like, you can't really do better than you would have to go 16-0. Which, if we couldn't do it this season, I don't know how we're going to do it potentially without Mike Hilton and some other guys. We're just not going to get better. We're simply not going to get better. We're only going to get worse. I'm happy with it. The Bengals on top of the world. They are one of my teams that I kind of want to be. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I probably mentioned it earlier, but we'll definitely sometime in June, I imagine. Maybe we'll wait till after the ratings come out from Madden 22 to decide on what team we want. The Lions are top tier. Bengals I kind of want to be. I think the Bengals are very high up on my list. What else do we have? Maybe. I think the Jaguars are a little too good. The Bengals aren't far off themselves. But I don't know exactly what overall Joe Burrow is going to be. The receivers seem to be maybe a little bit too good, actually. I don't know. It's a tough call. But yeah, the Lions are definitely very high on my list. I'll put it that way. They're very high on my list. And the Bengals aren't super far off themselves. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys have any suggestions for teams for us to be for next Madden. Suggestions you want to see for rebuilds while we're still waiting for next Madden. Anything at all. As you can see, our offense went absolutely off. That offense crushed it. The rushing and passing attack were insane. And then Mike Hilton, ironically enough, with an interception. But yeah, show you guys we didn't do any force wins or restarts or anything like that. And there you go. Cincinnati Bengals rebuild completed. Kind of expected it to go the way it went. A lot of success, obviously. Joe Burrow did very well, actually. He was really solid. I mean, just look at the numbers. Look at those ratings. Absolutely insane. Gambler with... Did we actually change any of these? I don't think we did. Did we? We may have. I can't remember. Jamar Chase's ratings, obviously insane. I mean, that is absolutely god tier. Double me route tech, a wide receiver apprentice. Of course, we put those on him anyways. Tyler Boyd, he kind of filled right into the role that we expect him to, even in real life. Joe Mixon, he was obviously very, very, very good throughout this thing as well. Dual style player. Auden Tate, a bit of a surprise at tight end. Actually did pretty damn well for himself. And, obviously a pretty damn big mismatch here too. Very fast for a tight end. Well, maybe not very fast, but, above league average. Kind of where the league's headed towards for receiving talent. Defensively, is there any players that, this team really cares to know about? Not really, right? Like, there's not much to note. Anyways, though, thanks for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, maybe leave a like. Maybe subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr. Second channel, PKR Plays. And then twitch.tv/Jeromepkr. Likely a stream tonight around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. I should stop saying likely because I sell so often. It's like, maybe there is, maybe there's not. Glad the train's showing up. You could have just waited for the outro, bro. Like, you could have just tooted your horn later. Regardless, train or not, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!